Hey guys, what's up? Most JRPGs nowadays get released on almost every single modern system, right? But what about the ones that are on PS4, Switch, Xbox One, and even Steam? Well, today I'm gonna show you the 10 best JRPGs released on those 4 systems. So let's begin! Number 10, Final Fantasy VII, 8, and 9. I'm putting all 3 together on number 10 for a few number of reasons. Besides the graphical enhancements and high resolution, there's no extra content in them. You can turn off the encounters, which is great, especially for Final Fantasy IX, since the original PS1 version had them kinda often. You can also use features like the high speed or fast forward. These 3 remasters look beautiful for the most part. Some work could have been done with the pre-rendered backgrounds, but I just don't see how. Initially, all 3 games had been remastered on Windows and later on mobile phones, so the Windows versions are the ones that got ported to PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Now, these so-called remasters were criticized because people were expecting way more out of them. I think they look alright, not the best remasters ever, but playable and enjoyable, acceptable at best. Number 9, Romancing Saga 2 and 3. Yep, more remasters. These 2 games are remasters of the original games we never got. They were released on the Super Famicom and we never heard from them again until these versions. They went through some mobile ports many years ago only in Japan until their versions to Android and the PS Vita. Later, Square Enix released them both for the consoles that I'm covering in this video. Every single version is available digitally, but there are physical versions for PS4 and Switch sold in Play Asia in case you're interested. A company called Arte Piazza remastered these games, known for porting and remastering several games worldwide. I never played the original, so I can only vouch for these remasters, and they seemed fine to me. From what I've read, they're pretty faithful to the Super Famicom releases, only graphically enhanced, including animated sprites. You can also choose to play the original versions by turning off the remastered content. Check these 2 games out if you really like challenging turn-based RPGs. They're non-linear games, 2 of the earliest examples of semi-open world JRPGs. Number 8, Shining Resonance Refrain. This is an action RPG first released on the PlayStation 3, only in Japan. A remaster of it called Refrain is the version we got in all 4 systems. This was ported by a company called O2, but the original game was created by Mediavision. Yep, those guys from Wild Arms and Valkyrie Chronicles. So this Yuma guy has the spirit of the shining dragon inside of him, but he's a prisoner of the Empire. Of course, 2 waifus save him to have him help in a war against that very same evil Empire. So it's your average yet interesting story most JRPGs of its kind have. Problem is, it's a Shining game and it got a lot of criticism because previously most Shining action RPGs had been exclusive to Japan, so a lot of people thought this was the triumphant return of the classic strategy series, only to be met with an action RPG and fan service. Well, I do hope Shining comes back one day to its strategy RPG glory, but honestly, this is a good game to play. If action RPGs and waifus are up your alley, I don't see why you shouldn't give this one a try. It plays a little bit like the Tales games and it's pretty fun. Number 7, Fuga, Melodies of Steel. Fuga came as a surprise from CyberConnect 2 when they left Bandai Namco. It could be argued that it's an indie game, but coming from the studio that developed the Dot Hack series and all those Naruto fighting games, it's hard to accept. Nonetheless, it's no AAA game, but it's still a gorgeous adventure about a bunch of creature kids that take control of a tank. This is in the middle of a war, so their goal is to save their missing families, possibly captured by the enemy nation. The entire game is played in 2D with tons of gameplay mechanics to improve your chances of succeeding in battle, more likely to reduce the need to sacrifice one of the kids to use a powerful magic cannon. The best ending, of course, is achieved by sacrificing no one, and trust me, it isn't that hard to do. The game's balanced, well explained, and easy to get into. But anyway, I said that it was a surprise also because it's incredible how they managed to release it everywhere. I mean everywhere, including the PS5 and Series X. Yeah, it's a must play no matter the system. Number 6, the Final Fantasy X and X-2 remasters. Oh yeah, baby, you knew this was gonna be here. Of course, these two need to be absolutely everywhere, and I can almost guarantee we will eventually get them on PS5 and Series X. It wouldn't make a lot of sense though, but it's Final Fantasy goddamn X, one of the most overpraised JRPGs in history. Oh, and yeah, it includes that horrible sequel. Anyway, nothing's changed since its original remaster, The Inception, on the PS3 and PS Vita, except that it has been graphically enhanced to look prettier for modern systems. Additional content from the original remaster carried over, like the roguelike RPG extra episode in Final Fantasy X-2 called Last Mission, or the Pokemon feature where players can capture and train monsters or NPCs to fight by their side. Every version has been handled by a Chinese studio called Virtuos, a big company with offices all over the world. They are known precisely for porting different games from different companies to modern systems. Well, these two remasters are no exception and they play really well on them, so if by some weird reason you haven't played Final Fantasy X, now you know where it's available. I hope we get it one day for Google Stadia and mobile phones as well. Yeah. You don't care about those, do you? Yeah, me neither. Number 5, Final Fantasy XII. This is the last Final Fantasy in the video, I promise. I remember when this remaster was announced back in 2017, no one was expecting it. I mean, the game was barely 10 years old and Square Enix already wanted to remaster it. The thing is, the original version on the PS2 had some balancing issues, nasty difficulty spikes, and a very convoluted skill system. In fact, it's called the Zodiac Age precisely because that was their major criticism, the license boards. These were reduced to 12 to match the zodiac signs, leaving a job system much less complex. Now, this remaster rebalanced the difficulty, but it still ended up being pretty challenging. However, it's far easier to get into, to understand, and therefore to enjoy. Indeed, this is the best version to play of this PS2 classic nowadays. Definitely an excellent remaster, and it looks great on any system you play it. Yes, even on the Switch. Number 4, Ys Origin. Most modern Ys games are available everywhere except the Xbox. Origin is the only one that made it there for some reason. However, Origin is not really one of the modern Ys games. This is, well, a port of a remaster of the original release in 2006 for Windows. Its first worldwide release wasn't until 2012 though, and then 5 years later, it got the versions most people know about on the PS4 and PS Vita. The remastered version, that is. Same one will go on to the Xbox One in 2018, and in 2020 it will be finally released on the Switch. This game is the prequel to all these games, so you don't play as the redhead guy you've seen in all the others. You got Hugo and Unica, and later unlocking a third protagonist if you beat it with both. While the layout is the same since the game takes place in a huge tower, the plot changes depending on the character. You fight most of the same bosses, but there are some exclusive to each protagonist. Excellent controls, badass combat, epic boss fights, top-down view, great pacing. What else can I say about this marvelous game that I haven't already in previous videos? Number 3, Tales of Vesperia. It's hard to believe that the only Tales game in existence that is available on all 4 systems is Vesperia. It was originally released on the Xbox 360 and the PS3. Strangely though, we only got the butchered 360 version, which is still great by the way. Obviously this remaster is the best version to play of it nowadays with several small features added to it, especially since it's based on the very same PS3 version we never got. That means it includes those 2 extra playable characters, one of them being pretty much one of the protagonists. I've always said Vesperia is a great place to start in the Tales series since it's balanced and easy to get into. Combat isn't as convoluted as in other Tales games, and the challenge is up there, but it's up to the standards of most modern gamers. So give Yuri a chance, a character unlike any other, away from the classic Tales protagonist trope. Number 2, Valkyrie Chronicles 4. The Valkyria series is a short one as it started out not long ago on the PS3 in 2008, so we've only gotten a few releases here and there, some in multiple consoles, but the only one that meets the criteria of this video is the last entry, 4. That's right, the masterful follow-up to all those other games though, made it through. All versions are excellent with barely any issues whatsoever, so it matters not where you play it, unless you mind the lower resolution and frame rate of the Nintendo Switch, that is. But anyway, even though this game takes place in the same universe as the first 3 games, it isn't necessary to play them first. It does reference the events in them, especially the first game. However, it takes place at the same time as it, but in another part of the European War, with some characters and plot. So it is safe to start with this one and then jump to the others. It's pretty challenging, but it does have an easy mode if it gets too tough. This is a masterpiece that I strongly recommend. Number 1, Dragon Quest XI. It's no coincidence this game often features on the first places of my top 10s. It's such an incredible game that it was just a matter of time Square Enix will release it everywhere. Initially released on PS4 and Steam, later with enhanced ports on the Switch and Xbox One. You know the plot already. It follows the adventures of a hero to clean his name from a wrongful accusation. After a breakout from prison, he escapes with his fellow prisoner Erick, no not me, to a large and beautiful world full of life and wonders. Dragon Quest XI is my favorite in the series, and I personally think it's the best one for beginners. Newcomers to this legendary series will find it a great place to start because of how balanced it is. Besides, I strongly recommend it as well for people who have never touched a single turn-based RPG in their lives. And of course, I couldn't forget about the upcoming Persona 3, 4 and 5 remasters on everything! Persona 5 Royal coming up first in October this very same year in 2022, oh yeah! And Nier Automata, nobody believed me when I said that one day it will be released on the Switch, so now it will be on everything starting October this very same year as well. Honorable mentions? Well, all of those Kingdom Hearts games, yep. All of those collections we saw back in the PS3, they're all on every single console nowadays. Even Kingdom Hearts 3, that's right, but on cloud. Yeah. Anyway, there's also Dragon Quest Builders 2 and Rune Factory 4. That's right, 4, not 5. I don't know why. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. See you next time!